I'm the one they call Nick Shell, and I'm with Family Friendly Daddy Blog, and I like to share my results of my DNA test with MyHeritage, and my mom just did the thing. I think my sister's going to do it soon. And something I love to do on YouTube is to respond to people's comments, because I think it carries on the journey, it carries on the story to have someone else share their perspective on what's going on. So there was the video that I made recently this weekend called What My Mom Really Thinks About My Hair Loss channel, which is that I've got another YouTube channel that talks about men's hair loss. But I mentioned in there the DNA test results, and I thought I want to answer this on my other channel that covers this stuff more. So someone that goes by the name of Dovax, here's what he had to say. Quote, "It's interesting how they care a lot about ethnicity in the United States, probably because it's the country with more race diversity in the world. I've never questioned that myself. I'm Mexican, and here we don't ask people what their ethnicity is because we don't even know that ourselves. And I think it's not really an important thing or even something to talk about, but I'd like to know what race I am for sure." End quote. Something I had never thought about until I saw this comment. I know, and I've always known, that here in America, we are a melting pot. I've always been aware of that. I haven't really compared that concept to other countries in the world. I've never thought about how we have more diversity here than lots of other countries. And I'm sure there's other countries that are just as diverse as we are, if not more. I could easily see that. But I've never thought about how perhaps here in America, we're a little bit more fascinated by this because we're that much more mixed up ethnically here. And so it makes sense why these videos are popular. It makes sense why there's so many different companies now doing DNA tests. Now, I understand across the world people are interested in this, but especially here in America, where, I don't know, when people would talk about what ethnicity they thought they were, they'd say something like, well, I'm a little bit Irish, I'm a little bit English, I'm a little bit Native American, and then they just kind of laugh it off and say, really, I'm just a mutt. And that's the cliche. That's the cliche that people have historically said when it comes to their ethnicity. But now we've got these DNA tests and we can know for sure. So yeah, finally, this ethnically mixed nation, the United States, we're learning exactly how diverse we are. Even I'm more diverse than I thought. My mom is more diverse, and she thought she was half Mexican, half Italian. And turns out her test reflected parts of that, but there was more to that than we realized. So it is interesting, and I've said before, certain people could care less about their ethnicity. Others, like me, are very fascinated by it. Now, I don't I'm not emotionally affected by it or, going crazy over it, but at the same time, I definitely think it's interesting to explore and to compare. I think it's interesting and I think it's fascinating. Some people don't care at all. But when you really look around you at how diverse America is, and to think, it's easy to think, oh, well, most of us are of European descent, and those of us who are not, you can tell by looking at them, probably what they likely are mainly, their ancestors mainly are. But it's not that simple. It's not that simple that we're all just mainly European. I mean, the fact that there's so many people that have Jewish blood in them that they didn't realize or would have thought about that, because every generation that they've known has not been Jewish by religion, so that throws things off. It's hard to imagine for most people that they're anything beyond European, and especially British, that side of the country. And the most exotic most people think they are might be German or maybe French. That can be the most exotic some people think that they are. And then they take these tests and they find out otherwise. And I know that there's some people who take the test and it just shows they're 100% whatever, But I think most people, there's going to be something in there they weren't realizing, something a lot more exotic beyond Germany or France than they realized. So this is me in the moment recognizing that I live in a very ethnically diverse nation that has a history of that whole concept. Everybody came here from wherever they were from. So I just think it's an interesting concept that you could be from a nation where if most people are the same thing for the most part, you're less interested in that because there's less of a chance that you're going to be more than two things at the most. So thanks for that comment. That really opens up my eyes and helps me realize I live in a diverse country, and that's reflected by my own DNA test. In case you haven't seen those videos, you can check them out.